Life is full of unexpected turns. As a Japanese proverb says, "Saiten no hakureki," a thunderclap from a clear sky, a shock, a sign, a moment that changes everything. The unknown road. Life never follows the map. As the Japanese say, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Uncertainty is not the enemy. It is the sculptor of your soul, the psychology of desire. Maslow built a ladder, but when the ladder vanishes, we build wings. Need becomes hunger. Hunger becomes flight. Socrates and the self. Socrates once said, "Know thyself," but the self is buried beneath pain, noise, fear. To find it, you must burn through the masks. The Buddhist awakening. A Zen monk whispered, "Silence is not the absence of noise. It is where the soul breathes." Maybe the world got too loud for you to breathe. Jung's shadow. Carl Jung warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life, and you will call it fate. Maybe your fate is just what you refuse to face. From neuroscience to nirvana, neuroscience confirms what monks already knew. Stillness rewires the brain, but it's not weakness, it's command. Epicurus illusion. Epicurus once said, "It's not what we have, but what we enjoy that is wealth." We chase more, but maybe clarity is all we ever needed. Pain is teacher. The Buddha taught, pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. But in your life, pain wasn't optional. It was the fire that forged your blade, the digital cage. You're not tired. You're digitally drained. You are overstimulated and underaware. Choose your rebirth. This isn't the end. This is where legends begin. Not in glory, but in collapse, in silence, in rebirth. Warriors return. A monk once said, "To find yourself, you must first lose everything." Now, everything is gone, and what remains is only your truth. It's not broken, it's just honest. Harsh truths don't ruin lives, they reveal them. Like Nietzsche warned, he who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. But most never find their why, because they never ask the right how. The forgotten self. You were born pure, uncoded, but then you downloaded beliefs, inherited fears, adopted shame. Freud called it repression, but your soul calls it amnesia. You forgot who you are to survive. The echo of stillness. A monk once said, "When the mind is silent, the truth speaks." But silence terrifies us, because in silence, there's no one to blame, just you and the mirror. Cognitive storm. Neuroscience tells us the brain isn't wired for happiness, it's wired for survival. That's why your thoughts loop. That's why the fear feels real, but you can rewire it through pain, through practice, through presence. The alchemy of adversity. Pain is the oldest teacher. Stoics didn't avoid it, they invited it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Every scar is a sentence. Every failure, a footnote in your rebirth. The noise economy. The system wants your attention, not your wisdom. You scroll, but you don't feel. You click, but you don't choose. This isn't freedom. It's a beautiful cage. The myth of later. Later is a lie. Growth doesn't wait for perfect timing. The Greeks had a word, kairos. It meant the divine moment. Not on your schedule, but now, right now. Return of the warrior. You were not built to break. You were forged. In chaos, in silence, in shame. Like the samurai said, fall 7 times, rise 8. And this is your 8th. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. Friedrich Nietzsche. Even when life shatters your plans, purpose gives your pain a direction, and suffering becomes survival. The wound is the place where the light enters you. Rumi, not all pain is punishment. Some wounds are openings, portals, through which transformation finds you. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Buddha, we often seek validation in distant mirrors, forgetting the soul we abandon most, our own. Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. Epictetus, our fears often dress themselves in illusions, but truth is naked and rarely is terrifying. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Aristotle, but to truly know yourself, you must walk through fire, not comfort. Wisdom does not bloom in shadows. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung, we are haunted not by the world, but by the silent scripts we've yet to rewrite in our own minds. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. Ram Dass, in silence, clarity whispers, and in that stillness, the soul begins to speak what the mind cannot. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Marcus Aurelius, existence without intention is a slow erosion of the self, not a life, but a lingering. Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls. Khalil Gibran, strength is not born in peace, but carved in chaos, one scar at a time. Do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the wise. Seek what they sought. Matsuo Basho, legacy is not imitation, but evolution. To chase what they chased, not copy how they ran. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Confucius, falling is not failure, it's the rehearsal for resilience. Every rise writes a deeper chapter in your story. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Buddha, your thoughts are architects of reality. They design the walls of your prison, or the wings of your freedom. He who opens a school door, closes a prison. Victor Hugo, knowledge doesn't just liberate, it resurrects. Ignorance enslaves, wisdom resurrects the mind. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Seneca, time is not cruel, it is indifferent, and yet, it waits for no one to awaken to its value. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. Plato, kindness isn't weakness, it's silent strength, forged in understanding and carried through empathy. The eyes are useless when the mind is blind. Unknown, vision without insight is illusion. Clarity begins not in sight, but in perception. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Ralph Waldo Emerson, you are not your past. You are not your fears. You are the fire still burning beneath the ashes. The only way to deal with fear is to face it head on. James Baldwin, fear only thrives in the shadows. Bring it into the light, and watch it shrink into something human. Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. George Bernard Shaw, growth is not a path for the stubborn. It is a revolution of thought, a rebellion against limitation. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Rumi, the fortress you built to survive is the same one that's kept love out. Break the walls, not your heart. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Zen proverb, life sends you mirrors, not manuals. When your soul is open, even silence becomes a mentor. Man suffers only because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun. Alan Watts, We mistake the dream for the cage. Suffering often blooms where attachment clings too tightly. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Marcus Aurelius. Life avoided is life lost. You die slowly each time you choose comfort over courage. The quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. Rumi. Truth hides beneath noise. Silence is the language of the soul. If you dare to learn it, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. The storm outside is real, but your anchor is within. Master your mind, and you master fate. Don't believe everything you think. Byron Katie. Your thoughts lie, not to harm you, but to protect a fragile self-image. Awareness is the first rebellion. Do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the wise. Seek what they sought. Matsuo Basho. True wisdom isn't found in footprints. It's found in the courage to walk your own path. To understand everything is to forgive everything. Buddha. Judgment ends where compassion begins. Understanding is not weakness, it's transcendence. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Rumi. Beyond division, beyond ego, there is peace. But few travel past the need to be right. Your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. Khalil Gibran. Every crack is a lesson, every ache a doorway. Pain doesn't destroy, it defines. Man suffers only because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun. Alan Watts. When you greet the highs and lows of life with deadly seriousness, you lose the game. Sometimes freedom is remembering how to smile. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Marcus Aurelius. What you should truly fear is not death, but the failure to ever truly live. Because time does not wait for you to begin. There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to believe what is true. Soren Kierkegaard. To reject the truth is to deceive yourself. Opening your eyes takes courage, for truth often burns before it heals. Happiness depends upon ourselves. Aristotle. The outside world may trigger joy, but its source is always within you. Those who search for peace outside will always remain lost. You only lose what you cling to. Buddha. Everything you grip also grips you. Letting go is not loss, it is liberation. Do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the wise. Seek what they sought. Matsuo Basho. To mimic the path of the wise is easy. To understand their longing, that is how you inherit their spirit. When you realize nothing is lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Lao Tzu. The moment you feel lack, you miss the world. Contentment is not poverty, it is spiritual fullness. The unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates. An unexamined life is nothing more than breathing. To truly live is to awaken with awareness. Act without expectation. Lao Tzu. Expectations are chains. True impact begins when action is free from outcome. Nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. Pema Chodron. The pain that keeps returning comes dressed as teacher. Until the lesson is learned, life repeats the